Dear students, good evening. I welcome all of you for this webinar, and we have with us the great speaker, CA Ankush Dhanukaji, and moderator CA Moili Tiwari.
Thank you,
Our
sir.
moderator CA Moili Tiwari will be introducing to you with the speaker and will be briefing about chairman and vice chairman. Over to Moili Tiwari.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us for today's edition of the Run at the Rate 100 webinar series, an initiative by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Board of Studies Operations to celebrate excellence, ignite insights, and empower the next generation of finance professionals. Today's session is an exciting one and a truly essential skill in the modern financial world. The topic says the art of persuasion, presenting financial data with impact. So, to begin with, let me take the privilege to introduce our Honorable Chairman of Board of Studies Operations 2025-26, CA Dr. Rohit Ruvatia. CA Dr. Rohit Ruvatia is an iconic Central Council member of ICI and currently serving as Chairman of Board of Studies Operations. Renowned for his visionary leadership, he holds the distinction of being one of the youngest ever managing committee member, regional council member, and central council member of ICI's history. He has contributed for major initiatives for inclusion of ICI's name in the Guinness World Record for the largest career counseling session, led impactful programs like Practice Ki Pathshala and the residential trainings for new COP holders. As chairman, he contributes to shape policies and method of practice for CA professions and the aspiring students, respectively. Dedicated to the student empowerment, he is committed to modernizing CA education through digital platforms, innovative learning methods, and industry-related trainings, making him a key force in redefining the future of CA profession. Moving forward, we have our respective Vice Chairman of Board of Studies, CA Sanjeev Sanghi. CA Sanjeev Sanghi, a seasoned chartered accountant with over 26 years of experience, currently serving as the Vice Chairman of our Board of Studies, ICA. As a Central Council member, he is widely respected for his leadership in digital transformation, capacity building, and professional development. As a capable chartered accountant, he led impactful initiatives like UDAN and the Voice of Diamonds. He has actively contributed to various ICI committees and held key positions in professional and social organizations. Known for his visionary approach, he is committed to empowering young professionals, enhancing auditor ethics, and strengthening ICI's global presence through innovation and inclusive growth. So, with this, to lead us into the artful territory, we are privileged to have with us a distinguished speaker, CA Ankush Dhanuka. Let me introduce him to you. CA Ankush Dhanuka, a dynamic finance professional currently with NSC India in Investor Relations and Analytics, a former best industrial trainee at BPCL. He has an hands-on experience in FP&A automation, MIS building, and board-level reportings. A passionate contributor to the CA community, Ankush has hosted conferences for over 30,000 students through Vikasa Navi Mumbai and represented Western India at ICS Nationals with multiple regional and branch wins. He's been invited to speak at multiple platforms, including colleges and forums, and now guides aspirants through many initiatives focusing on exams, trainings, and comeback strategies. Let's give a warm welcome to CA Ankush Dhanuka. Over to
Thank
you,
you so much.
Ankush.
Thank you so much, Molly. Thank you, BOS, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and team. So, first of all, I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible before I start?
Yes, Ankush, it's visible.
Just a second. Yeah. Can I start? Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. I am Ankush Dhanuka, and I'm extremely honored to present before all the students about the art of persuasion, presenting public data with impact. So, first of all, what is persuasion? in layman's, let me know in the comment section. So basically, persuasion is to convince somebody. We, as chartered accountants and CA students now, are extremely good at financial reporting, financial data, but it is not in itself enough. That we will cover over the period of next half an hour. So how to convince using financial data with impact? Basically, we chartered accountants are known as compliance officers, but what differentiates, or the MBAs, that they present a little better, and that is what we have to overcome, because in technical knowledge nobody can beat chartered accountants. That is a proven thing. So therefore I am here, being my purpose behind teaching and mentoring students to learn board presentation skills, public speaking, and being part of the WRC subcommittee of Student Skill Enrichment Board lies with the agenda to evolve the students in presentation, and they can excel in their careers and become the profit centers, henceforth making our profession proud. So I'll start with, basically we are known for accuracy and compliances, but board, that is not enough. We have to excel the boardroom. We have to win over presentations, and data which in itself can be molded in such a way that it helps us to not only uh, present our point, but to convince the board, or the stakeholders, the client, whomsoever we are talking to. So basically, now I will move on. Now, if, for example, if I give you a 30 slider or multiple sheet Excel dilemma, Excel workbook, so what would happen? You will not be able to interpret it, and it is all over the place. That cannot be, that is not in a presentable format, or that actually, basically, let me ask you, how many of you read those data, 50 slider PPT or Excel workbooks? Hardly 3-5 people read with this, and then it goes uh, above and above, and the clarity is not arrived. So therefore, this is the art which needs to be, this is an art which we need to cope up, and so that the students, and basically whomsoever, say we are implementing an articleship or our training, we excel it and solve it. Now basically, why does this presentation matter to us? First of all, numbers alone don't influence. Basically, we focus on completing our tasks, be it board meeting, be it audit, be it taxation, filing the returns, and you think you have a good grip of numbers, and you go to the client and you start talking, and we feel that we are the best, and the client will get impressed. But a lot of times you would have seen that when we speak to the clients, they are quite puzzled, because they are not well versed with the technical jargons, or they are not well versed with the numbers. It is the way how we speak and convince a client, uh, putting ourselves in their shoes, which makes the impact. So a lot of experience you guys would have also faced, where you go through the client and present the data, and you feel that you have done pretty well, but the client still is not convinced. So that is the real skill, how to present it. And we will be talking about the 3 C's, which helps us to present better. So now I'm talking about the 3 C's rule, which is followed while presenting any data anywhere. So first of all is clarity. Uh, what is the thought process? What is that KPIs, 3 or 4 KPIs which you want to talk about? And do not have a whole set of data without a messaging. Basically, have clear graphs, data, presentations, or what is the mission. Say, for example, you are going to talk about a special assignment, be it tech audit, be it any special assignment. It can be opinion on certain data, or financial performance improvements, or anything. You should have that clarity. What are the 3-4 KPIs which are you going to talk about? And it is always recommended to have graphical representation rather than bold set of data. Then context, it is this storytelling. Basically, if I'll give a practical example which you guys can look into, and I would wait for your answers on it. So basically, the context. Everybody may have different context, so it is very important to present the theme and let the context should be pinpointed and it should not be open-ended. And once that is done, your end goal should be kept in mind, and your data and everything should be communicated, which would lead to the meaningful conclusion. Now, understanding the audience. It can be anybody. Say, for example, if you are on the debt side, you might need a loan, so you're presenting to the bank. If you're on the equity side, you are presenting to the investors. Say, for example, it's an internal stakeholders meeting, so it might be board of directors, committee members, audit committee, etc., or be it the CEO, or different. So same thing can be presented differently for different set of people. Now, before you should know the audience. So if you are in a presentation or in a graph or in a financial data, the investors would be interested in dividend or EBITDA margins, the no pat, etc. Bank might be interested in how you're covering up your performance, that is your net profit, the data to the ability to repay back the loans, and so on. Now, next, storytelling, always with numbers. Basically, financials are just not numbers, but they're stories. How you make up the storytelling is important. Say, for example, it is a 50 lakhs rupees of loss you have incurred, or say whatever amount. So if it is in inventory, so what is the impact that also needs to be catered? That will be delayed in billing, then inventory being piled up, competitor will undercut prices, and you will have the impact. So holistical view should be covered and not just the numbers. And get back to the story. Now, live example I'll give you. So before, the data used to be the left hand side, if you'll see that the data is presented in a format. Before, there used to be number representations, and it was not communicated properly. But if you'll see the current day presentations, there are a lot of graphical representations, numbers, number crunching. You have all the data real time. You can say a data is given to you and you can present in real time, which is an art in itself. Excuse me. Basically, nowadays you're expected to build presentations or have communication hands-on experience to advanced tools like Tableau, Power BI, and so on, wherein you choose the KPI and the data reflects in itself and it is automated. You can see an example wherein sales of the below there is a sales graph of the later quarter where sales fell by 18%. So that's the whole driver of this chart. Now, there is a framework which, in bits and pieces we've already discussed, which is a peak framework. Peak, P stands for purpose, then E is for essence, A for audience, and K for killer closer. First of all, we should identify our goal. What is our goal? Maybe our goal is to become a CA, or if our goal in terms of be it audit, or file a return, or make a data which needs to be presented to external stakeholders. It can be anything. Once that is done, what is the takeaway? Say if you have to file, a return, or audit. Basically, you have to see what a key audit matters and what's the business. Based on businesses, you will define your, risk matrices. If it is a FMCG company, tech can be something which can be looked upon, and if it is a asset heavy model, then you have to look at the balance sheet items, and accordingly that will change. Audience, and now audience can be say for auditing, our audience would be the client, or say for example external stakeholders. If you're presenting, if you're working for a company, that can be an investor, people, or anything. And audience, based on audience, you have to mold yourself. If you're presenting to internal management, you will have to be sure, irrespective of the agenda, you decide and mold accordingly and present it. The same data can be presented at different places with different point of views. Now, before you would also know, so there's a famous saying, while in TV shows, a lot of people sit and have a debate with a no conclusion. So that should not happen, that you're discussing on point and the conclusion or the key ATRs, action taken reports, basically ATR points, what you're deriving and what are the key takeaways, which you have to work and bring back to the board or the meeting or the audience. So that should always be there, because what ends well is the work which is taken forward to. Now I'll give you an activity. Let me know in the comment section that seeing this data, what are some things, what storytelling you are up to. I'll wait for 20-30 seconds and then I'll start again. So a lot of people, somebody would say that the EPS margins are good. Somebody would say, you know, it's a cash rich company. So this is of NSC. So basically, they have the net profit percentages as high as 60%. That's not an industrial norm, but then it's a monopoly business which they are into. So that's the reason why that would be there. Then the revenue breakup. Somebody might be saying about the revenue breakup, and profit from associates, then the subsidiary dividend, core SGF. Core SGF is a different concept altogether. You can have an hour's discussion on that. So that's an amount which the exchanges have to deposit with the regulator, being SEBI. And so different people will have different perception. So, and each perception has their own skill delivery, and it makes the difference accordingly. So now here you have a quarterly presentation, then yearly presentation, and you can see the growth and degrowth. Since the market is already fluctuating and the exchange earns a revenue through the transaction charges, which not from the investors but from the brokers, basically, who are the members as for an exchange, and they do not deal with the investors. So transaction charges is how their revenues make off, and expenses are mostly related to the transaction charges, which is your regulatory and clearing and settlement fees, which goes to the clearing corporation. So it's a very simple business to put forward. And yeah, so that is it. And this data can be put forward. The same presentation data can be done for growth. Say, for example, if you have to present something from raw sales and build a narrative, the best example of this would be in Shark Tank, wherein you go with 1 minute decks and you present and you get the pitch done. Second is optimizing cost, wherein some businesses where the revenue is regulated, so their cost optimization. And the best example will be monopoly businesses where your revenues, say for example oil and gas companies and exchanges, your revenue is regulated. So it is the cost where the strategies can be built. Then key decision makings, KPIs relating to different aspects, which is derived, and that is how it happens. So that is it. Would be happy to take up questions further.
Thank you so much, C. Ankush, for that insightful and power-packed session on the art of persuasion, presenting financial data with impacts. I will have some questions from the students. So the first question says, what are some key skills necessary for effective presentation other than communication skills?
So apart from communication, if I have to see a few skills which your professional should have, is having access or hands-on experience to advanced tools, which is Power BI, Tableau, be it advanced Excel, uh, AI for that matter of fact, which is ever evolving. And the focus should be on these tools, and communication is an add-on to, if you do not have the technical skills, soft skills will not end up. So I always believe the technical skill is 50 to 60% and 40% is added by your communication skills, storytelling, and so on. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Would you recommend any books on learning about the art of persuasion?
So there are a lot of books, especially about, communication. So as of now, I'm not able to recollect any one specific book, but there are a lot, and reading is an habit in itself. And I personally believe that you should read more of self-help books, and invest relating to investments. Investments is both self-investment as well as investment in financial and non-monetary terms as well. Yeah.
Nice. So, Ankush, how do you strike the right balance between accuracy and simplicity when it comes to presenting some complex financial data, maybe in your office or in a public domain?
Can you come again with the question? Sorry.
How can you strike the right balance between accuracy and simplicity while presenting some complex financial data? So you maintain
Accuracy
the
and simplicity.
accuracy and at the same time you keep it simple for the audience.
Yeah, so basically for this, we should know, first of all, the peak matrix, which I talked about, and specifically, you should know the audience whom you're addressing. So according to you, that data we have to, uh, take 3 4 KPIs, basically key performance indicators, which we want to, communicate to, and numbers has to be accurate. So that is a basic or a minimum thing. Your data, or say for example, you're talking about, um, since I work for an exchange, so you're talking about average volumes which an exchange makes. So if it is 60,000 crores per quarter, it cannot be changed. So numbers has to be crystal clear, and that's a basic prerequisite. And then breaking it down by identifying the KPIs. See what you want to communicate. Based on that, you will identify and stick to minimum set of numbers and target the audience and communicate what you want to do.
That's interesting. So, since our larger audience is students here, but I have a question for our young professionals also. So, Ankush, can you mention some most common mistakes that professionals make while presenting their financial data, and how can they avoid this?
Yeah, so few mistakes which I can, tell that which we as professionals or anybody does is, first of all, loading the presentations or, deck with too much of information. So first of all, you should, as I've been saying repeatedly, should know the audience, and data should be pinpointed towards them. And having too much of data, uh, both in terms of, storytelling is not good, since you will not be able to channelize and bring those 1 or 2 items which you want to communicate, and it might lead to a different direction, and you end up being all around the place, and that straight line of communication would not be there. Second is, having we have that feeling that we will not be able to present, having technical skills along with good communication and command over technology. So these are few things, which is a essential for us, and that can be, basic stuffs which we can improve, and the communication or the mistakes which we make can be avoided.
Okay, so that was for professionals. At the start of the session, you also mentioned that there are a few skills that MBAs are taught in their curriculum, while we lack that in some of the other firm. So, how can young CAs or students today improve on their financial communication skills so that they're ready early in their careers?
So a good question again. So our institute as a body, over the past 4 5 years, if I'm not, even so they've been doing for pretty long, but for past 4 5 years, I've seen the institute having different scale of, stages, or maybe different stages we can call, of categories of practices, or curriculum which they're bringing in. So from conferences, now institute has a dedicated cell of student skill enrichment board, wherein they have national talent search. And you will surprised to know, not only basic skills like debating, elocution, presentation. Nowadays, institute has uh, chess competition. You have what, uh, pay, real-time startup pitches competition, then a lot of essay, Tableau dashboard visualization was one such item. So in that you have a branch level, then a regional level, and a national level, and that also helps. That competition, whomsoever have won, also get the opportunity to go to international conferences on institute and represent our institute. And you have Vikasa platforms, Vikasa Invest, and region across South, may you have Sikasa and all. So these you can, they have their student committees, conferences, a lot of events, and which are very good. We as a student early on should be, doing this and be part of these platforms, events, which will help you to build up your communication skills and excel in your career, because that is, sorry, something which MBAs are known for. Uh, and technical skills, again, technical skills, I am sure that nobody doubts when a chartered accountant speaks. Other professionals, it's a prerequisite, or they know that they're good at technicals. And so presentation and soft skills and advanced skills, the institute is providing. And not only from this, but we can also be part of other related, you know since it's a tech world, and you have a lot of digital competitions, and it's across domains as well, so that can also be explored. But as an institute, it is trying to build in and provide opportunities to students, and I believe students at large scale should take benefit of this.
That's right, Ankush. So I'm sure our students must be aware of all the initiatives that ICA is taking for gaining knowledge on financial data. So everyone is encouraged that you explore what ICI has on its plate for all of you. I will move to the next question, Ankush, for you. How to improve on persuasion and networking skills when it comes to financial analysis and collection of financial data? How do networking skills help and how can they be improved?
So first of all, we'll talk about both the things separately. One is networking, and one is financial data analysis and stuff. So first of all, networking is something, you know which is just beyond knowing people. So there's a famous saying, but one of my mentors says, create a bond, nurture and grow. So first of all, you should uh, create a bond with the other people. So if, for example, also, so networking, this is a basic rule. You should build network when you don't need it, because when you will need it, you will already have it. So I firmly believe in this idea. And basically, once you have, say, it can be, networking is a skill, which you have to communicate to more and more people in a meaningful way. And that happens when you have things in common. Say, for example, you're networking with, it can be different perspective. It can be for a co-founder. It can be for for jobs, which majority of this. It can be for clients, and identifying that. And you have to communicate in such a way. You should always start with a common point. Say, for example, if other person is also a chartered accountant, so and they're of your peer age group, or you have a same batch, or you have worked together, or you were part of your training, advanced ITT GMCs. So you should take the common point and start, and accordingly take it forward. So networking again, it's a digital world, more than physical. Nowadays, people do networking online, and there are a lot of platforms dedicated for it, including our institute also provides a lot of networking opportunities. And now using it for financial planning analysis. So since you have a good network, or you communicate with people, so you can get a lot of data, numbers, which helps you in storytelling. Say, for example, you might be part of any auditing group or whatever it is. So a lot of data is not publicly available, and or in a presentable format, and you do not have a clarity of on a lot of data points. So having network, you can take guidance of mentors, and maybe use that data to present and have a storytelling. So you will always have experts dedicated, or people who are working there on that set of data. Say if you're preparing a presentation on AI, so maybe somebody who is in and out, understands a product as an AI, can be reached out, and in that way, that whatever deck you're preparing, the financial analysis would have a better storytelling and more accurate than having a brief kind of presentation. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm going to go to the next question now. How do you ensure your audience focuses on key insights in a heavy data presentation? So when there's a lot of data involved in a presentation that you have to present in front of a selected audience, how do you ensure that the audience focuses on the key datas that you want them to focus on?
So basically, this involves storytelling. Say, for example, you are talking about a revenue multiple. It can be anything. Let's say a revenue can be sales. Say, for example, sales of a product you want to. So you will. It's always better to have the end product. Say, sales figure is something which you want to arrive, and which is a component of your price and volume. So now it can be, price can further be break down based on, it can be a singular price, or obviously singular price is not possible, but different products, different prices. In products, you will have again technical specification based on industry specific. Some would have a easier set of, products, and some would have complicated set of products and, product mix. It can be both goods, services, and uh, your prices can also be for a single product. You might have multiple price. For distributors, you have a different price. For e-commerce, you have a different price or something. So basically, you should know the end result, which is sales multiple. And if you break it down, it's a volume and a price game. And now you start with the base, which is your drop down, your product mix, and price mix, and all the technical stuff. But the end figure is sales figure, so you drop down and you go with that approach to indicate about the sales figure and what you're trying to say. But that storytelling should be in a horizontal way, or how I should put it. Basically, it should be channelized in such a way that the key multiple, the focus point, be it sales, profitability, or uh, the best performing products or services. So you should know the end result and accordingly channelize it and break it down further, rather than from having a top down approach, maybe a bottoms up approach, or depending, it can depend on product to product and category to category. So yeah,
Okay,
that is
some
how.
technical questions from the students. So, would you recommend some tools or platforms for creating high impact financial presentations or any that you have used in the past?
So few tools, again, I've already been telling, few tools which I've already named is Tableau, Power BI. Then again, AI tools, few tools, maybe Gamma AI is really nice. Then nowadays it's more about having that right set of uh, idea behind, and the technology does the rest. So you have a lot of again uh, AI, artificial intelligence platforms which can guide, and it is very specific. But these tools are the game changers. Your presentation skills, which can be traditional Microsoft tools, or AI tools as well, and Excel is always there. Then Tableau, Power BI, these are all your tools. And apart from that, your traditional SAP tools are always there. Be it production, and production would have SAP, service industry would have Oracle, and so on. Tally is there. So that's a prerequisite, which is this. But these tools are something technical tools which becomes a game changer, I believe.
Okay, that's interesting. So I'm sure I'm troubling with you with a lot of questions. So how do you handle tough questions or skepticism when presenting financial data with in high stake meetings with your stakeholders or investors?
So obviously, when you're going to present in front of a lot data, or high stake meetings, you would be prepared to a larger extent, and you'll have a storytelling in mind. But sometimes it might happen that you would have to look back, and you have to consider a few things, or a few things which you would not have an estimate, you would not have estimated, or which you do not have clarity upon. So it's always better to take a break, go back, and you can always say so. Not the other person would never expect that you have 100% knowledge, but whatever you has to be communicated in you, whatever KPIs you wanted, and whatever takeaways are there. So it's always happy to accept that you might have missed certain component, or this is something, this perspective can be looked upon, and they would be happy to give you time, and then you can work upon that data and go back to them. Yeah. So, and it is always recommended to have good grip over numbers, because numbers are something which are facts, and facts cannot change.
That's right. Any tips you have for summarizing large volume of financial data into executive level dashboards or decks so that it can be kept in a consolidated manner?
Yeah. So last jump, basically again, the agenda. If it is, uh, if you have to show profitability, you have to channelize the data, and have the matrix related to profitability. It can be profit to sales ratio, and your gross profit ratios, net profit ratios, operating profit, etc. So you have to, first of all, have the clarity, because a data point can have a number of interpretations. So for an exchange on, so notional to premium turnover ratio is a certain metric, or whatever it is, you should identify the matrix. The first of all, what you want to present. So that in itself will put out the data into this, and then you have to look at the end result, and say you have to show product wise. Then your dashboard can have a tab product wise, and all the data profitability related matrices can be there. So if it is a consolidated level, you directly create a dashboard, and your results are there. If it is product wise, and it can be season wise, so quarter wise, so you present the data, do the crunching in a format that you change the quarter, and your data gets refreshed. So it depends on what KPIs or what matrices you want to focus upon, to accordingly create the dashboards, and present and take it forward.
So, thank you so much for that explanation, Ankush. I will go towards the last few questions. Ankush, are you
Sure.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this one is very important for the students. There is a category of reporting CAs, and then there's a category of persuasive financial communicators. Would you like to highlight the difference between the two to our audience?
Yeah, so basically reporting CAs and communicators. So reporting CAs, which we are doing for compliance officers, or we are, called as the compliance experts. So which is basically doing whatever the task is assigned, and you report about it. Say audit, you give your opinion on it. And if it pertains to, special assignment or whatever it is. So reporting is something where, you have done your work and you report, and that is it. But now the times have changed. Having being the communicators, communication is something wherein not only with the reporting, where what are the issues, what are the solutions to it, proactive approach, how it can be this, from cost centric approach to profit centric approach, how we can bring revenue to the company, or how we can reduce the cost, and uh, profitability related aspects should be there. Mere reporting times have changed. So from a reporting or a compliance expert to a communicator or to a proactive approach is something which, which we should look after, and which has to be taken forward. Yeah.
Hello. There is some one question. How do
Yes,
you
sir.
prepare yourself mentally for a high impact financial presentation?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question?
How do you prepare yourself mentally before a high impact financial presentation?
See, your voice is not clear. Can you come again?
Pardon, again, I am repeating. How do you prepare yourself mentally before a high impact financial presentation?
Okay. So high impact financial presentation, how we should prepare ourselves. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good question, sir. Basically, before having you know, a heavy presentation, it starts from the day. You should always, go with, you should be first of all well prepared with the data, numbers which you're going to present. And you start your day that day with, minimum set of things and channelize your day accordingly, so that it is upon confidence and how you take forward the data to the presentation. So have a light foot and, plan your day, be, complete your task in time, and be highly, energized to, you know go for the meeting and present the data in a format how you want to, and your end goal should be clear, and present it accordingly, and take the best out of it. Yeah.
There is question. How do you handle tough questions or skepticism when presenting financials in high stakes meetings?
Okay. uh, okay, so for example, you have a large crunch of data and you are presenting to the board or whatever. You should know your target audience and accordingly prepare an answer, and you should have your storytelling. So as I was telling, if you're presenting to investors, it should be upon your valuation, or it can be upon your sales drivers, and sales to price ratio is something which you can look upon. If you're presenting to bank, so it is upon your interest coverage ratio, or it can be your debt coverage ratio. It can be upon your sales, and it can be upon your debt to equity ratio which you're already having. These are the parameters which can be looked upon. So based on stakeholders whom you are, talking to, your way of presentation or your handling of the data, or such can be have to be molded and presented.
Yes, Ankush, I'm so sorry I got logged out due to some network issues.
No
Uh,
worries. Yeah.
yeah, let's move on. What roles does colors, layouts, or designs play in enhancing the persuasive power of financial slides? Like the one you had presented was really well structured and had the right color combination. So could you just guide our students on that?
So there's a famous saying कि जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. So basically, it should, since, as a modern professional, it should be, say, sorry. So there's somebody saying something.
No, Ankush, please continue.
Yeah. So what I was telling is basically numbers is something, but colors and, the presentation formats plays a huge role, because prima facie, if it looks good, then, those chart graphical representations are something which excites people. And, obviously, so there's a survey where, you can share a loads of data and nobody would be interested. But if it is presented in a structured manner, so that is something. Even we look at the even when we open the newspaper, we look at the images or, graphical representations which have, key headlines and, attractive, because nobody is interested in this busy world. Everybody is lacking on time, so it is very difficult to, have loads of data with not having attractive, graphs, presentations, colors. Say for example, if it is a company, so every company has their logo or certain color appeal, brand appeal. So if it is, say, take the example of Nestle has Munch as a product. So everything has a color combination. So accordingly your data and your presentations can be molded in those colors. Yeah.
Okay, Ankush. So, since you're working in NSC and the profile you have is a really green profile with a lot of exposure, could you share with our students some examples of financial presentation you have delivered that influenced a major decision or impacted your team or your organization and why it worked?
Okay, so first of all, being working for the exchange, so a lot of things are confidential. So whatever is in public domain, I can put my insights on that. So if you will see, our team as an investor relations and business finance, we look after basically once your data, the closing is done. So from there to your earning board meeting, earnings call, and then your investor presentations, FAQs which has to be released to the public. So that is something we look after. We look after stakeholder management. So the people who are invested at NEC, since again, not it is not listed, but however you will still have a large stake of stakeholders, and you guys would be knowing that it is largest unlisted company. Those following stock market would know, that it is one of the largest unlisted stakeholders are there. So uh, preparing for their meetings. They come to meet up the management, be it CFO, CEOs, and etc. And then again, business finance section, we look after the budgeting of NSE and cost optimization, cost analytics, product-wise PNL, and and so on. Yeah. So, what was your second question, Molly?
This question was around why that worked, the financial presentation. How did it create an impact?
So yeah, so one of the presentations which I can recollect was on colo pricing. So if you'll see data center, the pricing was before was different, and it was on 12 lakhs plus. It was a 12 lakhs inclusive, and it had but colo, as a colo is nothing but center services, from where you have your. So basically, we as an individual might have a few seconds, we might get the data basically, and it will not be such an issue. But large broker houses, algo traders, for them every second matters. So they have the servers in the data center of NEC, and through cables, or having different operators, lease operators, through those lease lines it goes to the broker offices, and accordingly it happens. So the pricing was before, say, 12 lakhs or something, and then we understood the model. So it is basically like a router, and where you give the router for free, and you earn through your service fee or your Wi-Fi bill, which happens. So here also rental was, say, X amount, but for 10 lakhs of rentals, we used to earn as much as 2 crores of revenue through data connectivity. That is nothing but your connectivity, because that is on high speed internet and it is very expensive. So then we revise the pricing from, say, to 9 lakhs and whatever price, plus of electricity, and then plus of data connectivity. So which, we have reduced the price, and again smartly, the electricity was almost a 50%. So electricity cost of that data center itself, and not the lease line, so which was around 50%. So that is something, that storytelling we did, and we were able to get it implemented. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Ankush. You have truly shown us that beyond just crunching numbers, it's how we communicate them that drives the real decisions. So, when we talk about financial and non financial data, so non financial data in itself is subjective and can be simply converted into English. But converting financial data into a storytelling is a real challenge, and that's what creates a real impact in the long term. So, thank you. You have been a great speaker. I hope our students took a lot from you. To all our participants, thank you for your enthusiastic engagement, thoughtful questions, and presence today. We hope this session will assist in a positive manner to present financial data with accuracy, impact, and the right intention. Let's continue the spirit of learning as part of the Run at the Rate 100 webinar series and take every opportunity to grow as future ready CA professionals. Until next time, take care and do keep learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Good day. Yes.
Hello. Am I audible? Sir, thank you to respected faculty for the wonderful session. We are confident that the students have gained benefit from the knowledge on the topic. We also thank you to all dear students for their active participation in the session. We also thank you to our chairman and vice chairman, sir, for taking this initiative. Students are requested to please join this run series every Tuesday and Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to learn and grow. Thank you. Thank you all moderator, sir, madam, and thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can leave
Bye-bye.
the